hunters. Then shut your mouth, Hoon, or I'll shut you down.
Hi, it's Up975 and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox. I totally messed up this episode because for some reason my recording on the Elgato went completely wrong and I ended up having to salvage all of this footage from what it randomly records, which isn't ideal but isn't actually that bad. Well, say that. It's not great. So this footage is a bit broken up and a bit all over the place, but basically after the mess up and the mishap that I had with the Drugar and the fact that I've basically got into a fight with everyone immediately, which wasn't terrible but wasn't sort of the best thing to have happen. I then ended up here getting into combat with the slimes, clearing out the rest of the stuff, and it was fine. I mean, I cleaned out an awful lot of stuff. That was sadly the only footage I had from the fight with the slimes, which I think I handled pretty well. Jumping in the top and actually coming down the stairs is a lot easier than battling up them, weirdly. I did catch the whole fight with the mimics for some reason, but like I said, the recording was a bit scattered and all over the place. And I'll be honest, the way I've got my party set up, none of these fights were any challenge. There was a lot of just going around and killing the odd Drugar that hadn't been drawn into the big fight that I had in the last episode, because of my misplaced Thunderwave, meaning I'm suddenly in combat with everybody, which wasn't ideal, but actually worked out in my favour, I think. Certainly in terms of what happened later with Nier. The fight with Nier is so much easier if it's just Nier on his own and everything else is already dead. So while I thought what happened in episode 14 was kind of a bit of a nightmare, I ended up having to fight all the dwarves at once all the time. It kind of turned into a bit of a blessing. It was okay. It could have been a lot worse. And I was pretty happy with what happened. Now, in terms of the way my characters are set up, it's always best to get action surge out of the way and get those attacks in as soon as possible. It's always best to try and limit the number of attacks returning back at you. It's also quite handy using certain characters to draw fire over certain characters. For example, I really want Nipsy and Karlak to basically I'm happy with those two being targeted with a lot of attacks. From the point of view that Nipsy has shield, which makes a huge difference to her armor class, and Karlak has a bucket load of hit points, so that makes a big difference to her armor class. So all in all, it's quite useful. I don't know why I did that. Why am I attacking twice then raging? That's just me being an idiot. I was probably thinking of using the smites, but I didn't. So that was really dumb. But yeah, I tend to not want them to be attacking Shadowheart because she's usually concentrating on something. But Nipsy is fine to be attacked because she has interesting ways of dealing with things, and because now she's putting out reverberation and stuff, it's super handy. But yeah, Ray of Frost slowing stuff down. There's a lot of sensible ways I can slow stuff up, mitigate what it does, and as you can see, the amount of damage that can be put out by my characters, it's pretty easy to end fights quite quickly. And I was surprised. Didn't give me the option of shield, so that must have been a decent hit. One thing I would say is Shadowheart is terrible with that mace. I need to get her a better weapon. I obviously, it would be the Light of Lathander is probably going to be the main weapon she's going to be using for a long time in this campaign. As far as Karlak goes, she's still an absolute beat stick of a barbarian. Ridiculous amount of damages. The bone chilling hammers are doing sterling work for me. I think that's a decent weapon. I must admit, I do really miss access to Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade from 5e and the mods for Baldur's Gate. They're spells I really wish was in the main version of the game and not mods, but it happens. I mean, it's, Larian did such a good job, but there was a few spells for me they missed out on, and especially Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade, because you can pretty much make builds all around just those spells. They're that good. I'm having a bit of fun with Lizelle here because she's not ideal in ranged combat, but it's nice because she's getting thunder damage, lightning damage, and her normal piercing damage. And if I healed her, she should be getting poison damage on top of that. So it's good fun build with the lots of little bits of damage. I will do a look through the builds that I've got these characters working towards in a future video. They're interesting builds. There's a lot of synergy going on with multiple characters working together to create synergistic things, and obviously once I get Spirit Guardians on the go, it becomes absolutely ridiculous. As you saw in the last episode, once they're all bunched up in Spirit Guardian mode, the amount of damage they output is ridiculous. And yeah, I mean, to actually have Lizelle doing decent damage with a bow is hilarious considering how bad she is. There were a lot of very easy fights in this episode because basically I'd done all the hard work in the previous episode, and this was just literally clearing out the bits of rubbish, the bits of stuff around. This fight is just a weird one, yeah, I thought I'd head back a little bit and give Nipsy high ground to shoot some stuff through the doorway from way back there, and yeah, and then they all get to act so much quicker than me, which is annoying. And unfortunately they decided to pick on the barbarian girl, which probably wasn't the best idea for them. Like, let's pull the barbarian into combat when she's got rages left. Yeah, I'm quite happy doing that. You go for it. She's giant strength up, she's got a massive hammer. If you want to mess with her, you can mess with her, because even if she misses, she's still going to hurt you. And if she hits, it's going to hurt you a lot more. And she'd have an extra bonus attack now if it wasn't for that she raged. And when a friend comes in and starts tripping people up, that's when it gets fun. I should have done the precise attack on that one, I think, but still, she does eventually trip him up. And yeah, the amount of damage these ladies do is getting there in a turn. And yeah, it does make a big difference. Like, eliminating things so quickly off the field is great. Yeah, just all in all, the the four girls work together pretty well, and those debuffs really do help. Things miss and fail because they're being given minuses. They've got reverberation going on, there's the light orbs and everything else, and yeah, nice easy pick up with little crossbow attacks. And then we released the gnomes, did near fight, and like I say, near was a lot easier with everything dead. Unfortunately, there is a way of saving this girl, and I don't know how to do it. I need to look up how to save her, because apparently there's a way, but I've never had the option to be able to save her. So I'll have to find out. But yeah, Near on his own, even though he's got legendary abilities, yeah, I'm not too worried. It's just Near on his Todd, and I've got psychic stuff too. He put his psychic vestiges out. Pain, but may as well remove the attacks. You take damage for damaging him, but because he's on his own, I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to send Karlach in to absolutely slaughter him in a minute. Meanwhile, everyone else is going to pick him up from range, chip away at him a little bit, and yeah, blazed for psychic damage, blazed for psychic damage. He's such a pain in the ass. But yeah, ultimately he was a little bit far away. So yeah, This fight was a lot easier than having to deal with him when he's got all his friends involved and there's dwarves all over the place. But you know, it was a weird one. I didn't feel like he was too much hassle, but he still puts out a lot of damage with that horrible ability to do psychic damage to everyone else. And so it was about clearing that shit out of the way, stop him doing that, build up the reverberation. And as you can see, she's already doing absolutely loads of little bits of damage. That's what she's really good at. It's only 11 hit points, but 11 hit points of really random damage types. And yeah, I'm out of rages, but it doesn't really matter because I've got lots of shit I can throw at him. And yeah, unfortunately, I think the door was in the way, so that was a bit of a problem because the path was interrupted. So yeah, bomb him, run in and whack him was the general consensus, and go for, you know, maybe some reckless attacks on him. Even though she's not raging, she's still a damn decent amount of damage that also stops any healing, which is great. And then, you know, keep him shoved back into the room, and you know, his legendary actions, and he's trying to psychically annoy people and stuff. I've got to admit, look at the amount of damage that Karlach has taken. He is an absolute pain in the butt to deal with, you know. But ultimately, you can just slowly take him out. Unfortunately, my crossbow bolts were dual wielding. The one thing I do hate about Baldur's Gate 3 is constantly having to change back that dual wielding thing. It tends to want to fire both bolts at once, no matter what you do, and that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But yeah, Nir's almost dead. Time to just throw something at him while he's on the floor and finish him off. And that's that. The True Soul Nir dead as a dodo. Pick up all Karlach's thrown stuff. Then I went around the side and did these bits. Again, like I said, there was only these little few bits and bobs to pick up. In fact, I probably showed this in the roller. I did this, I think, first, and then went and did the uses and then thing. But like I say, the whole recording was a nightmare. So normally I record on my Elgato and it's fine. I recorded all of this and then my Elgato crapped out and I had to dig it up from the files, because while the Elgato's on, it passively records everything. The only problem with that is it's not as easy to piece together, and it records short clips. So a lot of these have actually been fed together from multiple videos, which is a bit odd. I don't know why I'm trying to scare Drugar. They're nightmarishly good at evading anything like that. But you know, dazing them apparently works. He was trying to menacing attack me, man, and healing already. That's just low. But yeah, time for hammer time, and this time I will do some smiting. It's kind of fun because she gets these legacy smites, which are no good while she's raging, but they are actually really good fun to use and do a lot of damage with her strength and being able to smite, even low level smites. They're usually particularly useful. If you're wondering about why I did the bow shot first, it's because if I do a bow shot, it means she gets electrical charges. A lot of the builds I've got going on work around electric charges and doing stuff like that, which anything that increases your damage is a good thing in this game. Honestly, any extra damage you can get, it's amazing what an extra d4 damage can do in D&D 5e. You know, even spells that people always frown upon, like just an extra d4 damage, but it like enlarges an extra d4. There's a really cool paladin spell that gives everyone in radius an extra d4 radiant damage, and when you've got the orbs going on and all the rest of it, giving everyone extra radiant damage to do, just absolutely insane amount of debuffing you can do with all that stuff. Anyway, that's this episode coming to an end. So this was just a bit of clean-up work after I totally messed up and ended up fighting all the Drugar in the last episode, and we'll move deeper into the Forge in the next episode. And yeah, still a little under level for the Underdark because we still haven't done the Goblin Camp, but that's all. Thank you very much for watching.